The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Media Mash time here on a Wednesday, hump day at the Star in Frisco, SWBC podcast studio. We got Fort Worth Star Telegram's own Nick Harris.
Barely.
105.3 The Fan. Well, I mean, you're here.
I'm here.
You here?
Yep.
Yeah. You sure? Okay. Bobby's here.
What's up?
Drilling Jerry on Tuesday. Boy, I appreciate it.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Jean-Jacques Taylor here, the author and former Cowboy beat writer Newy Scruggs. I enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, it was. He was in New York, and so I did feel like I was like, man, I think he's multitasking right now.
Oh, you could totally tell.
Yeah,
I haven't done the show long enough. I got to do this, but I've got other stuff I'm trying to do. So
He was look. He gave us some good stuff, but I definitely for the first 2 or 3 questions like, oh, I think he sounds like he's checking into a hotel or something. Like he just does not sound like he told. What was that again? What were you asking about? Who was it?
So when you do that show, I remember I used to do it on the
Yep.
Fan Fridays at 10. So what's the one question you came away with? It's like, I'm glad I asked that.
It was probably. I mean, I'm glad we asked him about the defensive coverage issues because he said basically guys just got to be better. Essentially, he didn't try and give them any sort of an excuse for learning curve or anything else, and he shouldn't. It's cover 2 and cover 3. It shouldn't be that confusing for guys to pick up. But also, I mean, like we just kind of said, like, all right, is Aubrey up next? And threw him that one. Then he was like, yeah, I think we've talked since the game. And what I wanted to say was, I want to say his agent or him. Who did you talk to?
Right, let me talk to you. It's so, I did enjoy the fact that, Jerry was, previously letting us know when that Mozzie and Jaden Blue were not playing. So I was, it's like the old Dalvin Cook thing with Dalvin's family. Dalvin and his family would listen on Tuesday to see whether he's going to play.
I got to send the guys some Friday questions. I got to give them a couple. So
I was just there for the glory hole question.
I thought it was a little early for Jerry on that one. A little early for Jerry.
Yeah, catch him at like 4 p.m. He'll really be able to.
Yeah. Or 5 o'clock somewhere.
If they've got a few wins under his belt, when he's feeling really good,
It was topical though. Kennard McGuire had said something about it, so he wanted it like we had it. We were giving him the moment right then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is something there. So, all right, what'd you get out of the locker room today, guys?
It was George Pickens was talking today, and he hasn't had the most efficient first 2 weeks of the season. I think if you would take it by George Pickens standards, or maybe what people expected out of him coming into this outfit, but you could tell that the comfort is starting to settle in, and I think you really saw it in the second half of that Week 2 game against the Giants. And he spoke about how his route tree has become more developed since he's been here at Dallas. He's running more routes. He feels more comfortable running more routes, and that trust is starting to build with Dak Prescott. And we've talked about how Dak Prescott has 9 big-time throws through the first 2 weeks. And basically what that means is tight window throws downfield. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't had one to George Pickens just yet. And you've seen him to CeeDee Lamb. You've seen him to Kevontae Turpin. You've seen him to Jake Ferguson. And you can kind of tell when Dak Prescott is building trust with a pass catcher, he will put them in those situations. He hasn't quite done it with George Pickens, but when it does come and that trust is built, it's going to add another layer to this offense, no doubt.
Well, he's always been a guy who goes where the read takes him. That's one of the reasons him and Dez never clicked early on is, okay, you're not open. You're open by Rumble's standard, but not my standard. Yeah. So I got to go where the read takes me. That does often. I don't say often, but like just me back when I played quarterback, I'm not throwing the ball to Jalen Tolbert on 4th in the game because I'm about players, not plays.
Yep.
But he caught it, so I'm not bitching. But had he not caught it, I would have been bitching. Be like, dude, I can't do it.
Yeah.
My nerves aren't that big.
I will say, and I agree. Tolbert is not necessarily where I would like, all right, on the line, this is the throw I want to make. But that's, in the last year, that's 2 big 4th down, here's ball game throws he's had to make to Jalen Tolbert. And Tolbert with somebody on his back made the catch. There's this one. There was the one on the goal line in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, he's made him. He stepped up big when they need him to. I think the Pickens chemistry thing is interesting because they're clearly, I think, still kind of feeling it out. Dak, a couple years ago, when the discussion had started about the option routes under McCarthy, and do they keep him, do they get rid of him? Dak had said that, it also matters who you're throwing to. And I remember him talking about CD specifically, and he said, we've done so much together and worked so much together that, like, I know him. We've got a rhythm. There's a feeling there that, like, I trust him when I see that route more than I might trust somebody else because I know what I'm getting. I know what he's going to see. I know he knows what I'm going to see. Like, we've got that rhythm. We've got that sync. I think it's clear there's still some of that. Some of the ones, the pass interference calls he was getting on Sunday, and you'll take those. They're spot fouls, everything else. But you could tell not totally in rhythm with where the ball should be. The one in the end zone, Pickens was just willing to kind of like let it drop in, thought he was going to catch it like that. I think Dak probably put up one that he thought go up, attack it. So you're still going to get the feel for that. It's 2 weeks in, but I mean 2 games in anyway. It's a full summer of practices and everything else in. But, you know, I imagine that will probably start clicking more.
Week 6.
Yeah, that's 6, something like that. Yeah, get through the month season, start having an understanding of what your offensive line is, how much time you have, and what you want to do.
Because remember, they didn't have any preseason. And preseason, you can say it is whatever it is, but that's still game reps, even if it's
left tackle didn't have any preseason either, yeah.
And now you're talking about more changes. Your offensive line is changing this week. Your center is gone. So, you know, BB's going to be out. Turpin is possibly not going to play as much. I mean, so you're seeing it's going to be some changes this week. I mean, they are an underdog at Chicago.
I'm kind of shocked by that.
I think it flipped this morning. I think I saw where the Cowboys were now a 1-point favorite. But nevertheless, I mean, it's closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
That's closer than I thought. Yeah, Dallas is now a 1-point favorite, but that's closer than I thought it would be. Practice report just came out. Turpin was limited today. I think that's a good sign.
And I think I do think that when you talk about weathering injuries, obviously it's a drop whenever you're talking about losing a starter to anywhere. But center is probably the one that you're most prepared to deal with because Hoffman's worked plenty there. They like what Hoffman brings in terms of temperament and physicality and different things like that. Dak has taken snaps from him. It's not like just completely new for him. So obviously you want your starters out there, especially a line. When you're talking about that, you want the cohesion of everybody. But I do think that that's probably the area where you feel like, all right, we can most sustain putting a backup in there and feeling like we have some familiarity.
So speaking of centers, quarterback exchange, and he saw Turpin. Talk about 55% chance of rain in Chicago. So
This ain't Aikman. Dak can handle a wet ball.
Well, still just not easy. I mean, that you know, snapping back there, it's an issue. I'm not saying Dak can't handle it. It's just something to be aware of. I mean, you know, my limited time.
I will say
my limited high school career. I just want to tell you, whether make some changes now, and if it does it at this level, you can imagine what happens at that level. It's just something to think.
Just means more carries for everybody's favorite running back, the new Tony Dorsett.
Hey. You know, it's funny. Anthony had a conversation about that. Anthony Dorsett, who does players.
I think defensive players should be able to wear 33, but not offensive players.
He actually said Javonte talked to him about it. But,
did he not?
Yeah, checked with him and said, "Hey, man, is your dad?" You know, yeah. Actually, paid homage.
That man just went 2 stars up in my book.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah, that's good awareness right there. It's funny when we were up in the press box at AT&T. Somebody working the press box came up. I was like, "Why did they let a running back wear 33?" He's like, shouldn't you just give that to any other position but 33? I was like, I don't know. I mean, Javonte Williams, but it's good to know that he asked for it. I will say the weather is interesting. I can't remember what it was. I looked back at this last year when there was one game they were doing where McCarthy kept calling about doing wet ball drills and different things like that. And I remember looking back, rain had not been as much of a problem throughout Dak's career as, especially earlier in his career, cold weather was bad for him. Like, generally, he's picked that up. But if you look earlier in his career, anything under 40 degrees were some of his worst performances. Even if it was clear, no other elements to deal with, just cold weather had been an issue. But, yeah, I mean, the rain obviously is going to make it more difficult, footing, everything else, delivering the ball, and that's going to be something that may lead to more of a run game.
So 55%.
Grass surface, it could get sloppy.
55% chance. Now, I didn't do the deep Rick Mitchell dive of when it could happen, what time, what's going to be the morning after, I don't know.
The supercell going to blow in from Lake Michigan.
Right, so we're getting there Saturday. So I'm going in Saturday. So apparently it's a 40% chance of rain on Saturday. So basically it's going to be rain Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I think into Tuesday, Chicago. Just on and off here. So we'll see. Just something to think about.
I don't need a third rain delay in a year.
Oh, my gosh.
On the road.
Please.
Gosh, Pittsburgh and Philly.
Hopefully no lightning. Hopefully no.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Bright side is it's not a night game, so we have time to get.
Yeah, I mean, we got time. Like, yeah,
you would be.
I can actually
later.
sleep on the plane in this instance. Unlike if that happens. So.
Yeah, I get it. None of us want to be there. Hey, can we go play the game? I mean,
yeah,
the hour delay, that kind of thing it throws a lot of stuff off.
I will say if rain does affect and it becomes a run game, I like Dallas's chances a lot more, just specifically because if it's clean weather and Roma Dunze is allowed to run free on cover 2 and cover 3 confusion, then I'm not going to feel as good about that.
Yeah,
dirty word.
Question.
Run game right here. Just looking at the numbers here, the Cowboys are 11th in the league in terms of rushing, averaging 127 a game. The Bears are 12th, averaging 126.5. So they're right there.
Yeah, the Bears would be higher if they'd be playing their better running back, which is, I feel like, the rookie Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift. I mean, you look on film and he misses so many wide open holes, it's unreal. I feel like if they were playing the rookie, they'd actually have more sustainability in that run game.
Do you always wonder with rookies is how much they trust him in pass protection and that kind of thing?
Kyle Monangai, best pass protection running back in the draft this last year.
You would know. You're the draft.
He was a bowling ball at Rutgers, so I don't think there's any concerns there. It would probably be more so about outside zone things and things of that nature. He's more of a between the tackles guy.
If I tell you a guy played at Rutgers, you think he's gonna have pass protection problems? That's 23 personnel.
Man.
That's Rutgers running out there, 23 personnel.
Greg Schiano.
I thought that was a Ray Rice joke.
No, it was not.
No.
It's like, Jesus, Bob.
I would not. No,
He didn't go that far.
He does.
Gutter.
No,
Not
he does.
that far.
No, he does.
Bobby's got a limit.
not outside of
No,
my
he doesn't.
phone. I don't.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Bobby's got a limit.
I don't know. I'll show you my folder on my phone during the break.
No.
Don't say that. On
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, I don't want to. When the man comes in the courtroom, I don't want to say I had seen this man's phone. I don't know anything at all here. Jock, would you rest Kevontae Turpin to beat the Cowboys?
No.
Okay.
If you can play, you can play. This team ain't good enough to be resting folks. Even against the Bears, and they raggedy Rudy Poot performance they turned in last week.
On wet turf, possible. Or grass.
Yeah, my sister is a Bears fan, and I was hanging with her this weekend, and she watched that whole thing. I was like, you're a true one. 'Cause that thing was bad. So, no. And plus, they figured out the little role for him this year. They giving him a couple carries. They throwing the ball to him. So, no. I'm not a big Tolbert fan. I mean, he's all right, but I don't want to see him more snaps.
Okay, so what's and this is a very interesting. A lot of people are down on Tolbert.
Okay, let me tell you what gets me with Tolbert.
Tell me where he.
What did I just tell you?
When did he lose you? What
did I just tell you? He made a fantastic, sensational catch on 4th down to keep that drive going. Then what did he do right next one? Dropped it. It was a deep out.
Consistency's a problem. Yeah. Consistency's been a problem. I'll tell you, I loved Tolbert coming out of school. When Tolbert was coming out of South Alabama, I was a big fan of his. I wanted them to take him in the 2nd round when they took Sam Williams. I thought there's no way he gets to the 3rd round. So I was a big fan. The thing with Tolbert, I think, is when you watch his demeanor specifically, to me, like if you're a receiver, you got to be able to stand on that island and be ultra competitive, and you need to be that alpha out there.
That dude.
Yeah, and Tolbert was that guy at South Alabama, and he's talked about it before. His rookie year, his confidence got shot, and I don't know if it ever came back to the level it was at South Alabama.
No, because he shows no 12-letter cuss word characteristics right now. And that's not to say he's a bad player. He's just inconsistent is the right word, because I don't trust him. I don't trust him to catch it or not. I mean, just when they throw it to him, I go, well, let's see what happens.
Is he too much Terrence Williams for you?
Terrence Williams will make a play now.
I was about to say, I feel like Terrence I'd put above Jalen Tolbert. Yeah.
No, Terrence Williams is all right.
I will say, Terrence,
for a number 2 guy.
Terrence, Tolbert, Gallup, like they're all examples of guys who at some point confidence became a question and ability to bounce back, and that's
trust.
What I'll
the issue when I think of those 3 guys. At some point in time, was like you need 3 things for trust: time, proof, and consistency. And somewhere along the way, they never gave you all 3 that you needed to say, yeah. I mean, Jerry gave me. I always thought they messed up in not paying Cooper and then paying Gallup. Let the wrong guy get out the building. But that was just my opinion.
Yeah, I'll say, it's that kind of mental toughness, and it matters on Sunday when Lamb has another drop. When that ball went through his hands in the 2nd quarter, and he kind of dropped his head as he was walking to the huddle, I remember just sitting there thinking, like, all right, Now this is where are you going to make it 2, 3, 4? Or are you is this going to be bounce back? And is the mental toughness going to be here? And consistently throughout his career, CD's shown he bounces back and he makes a big play. That's why Philadelphia was so bizarre. So when he had that drop, I just remember thinking, all right, it needs to not snowball this time. Like you need to see the toughness here. And I think he bounced back and he showed confidence, made big catches. That one drive in the fourth quarter, the second to last touchdown drive, that was him. That was him and Dak in connection, in rhythm. That's what got you down the field and got you into position.
Javonte as well.
Yeah.
Javonte, good football player. Good football player. All right, Nick.
Nothing to do with being a Tar Heel, right?
We're back with the Media Mash right here on DallasCowboys.com.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
Keith Davis into the end zone.
You know what separates champions from the rest? Making the right move at the right moment. With blockchain.com, that's never been easier. The Cowboys became America's team by striking bold when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com. Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys today to get started and learn more. That's blockchain.com/Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
Cowboys fans, SeatGeek is the only primary ticketing partner of America's team and here to help you experience all the action this season. SeatGeek makes it easy to find the perfect seats to the perfect game, so you can be part of all the touchdown celebrations and momentum-shifting takeaways this season. Whether you're getting tickets to Cowboys games or to any other live event in DFW, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. SeatGeek.
Look, school is starting and I'm just a kid. And let's be honest, I'm not going to shop for myself. But we can get up to 40% off back-to-school essentials on Uber Eats. Did I mention I need poster board for my science fair, lunch for my field trip, and unlined note cards for my history quiz tomorrow? Or were they lined? Anyway, Uber Eats has all the back-to-school stuff on there. So come on, let's order now on Uber Eats and get up to 40% off. We're cool, right? Cool.
Not literally everything. Promotion ends 9/16 and is subject to change or cancellation. Exclusions may apply. Check app for availability.
Back to Media Mash.
Tostitos team bags are back. You can get the official chip of the Dallas Cowboys at your local store, available for a limited time. Scan the QR code or visit FritoLayExperiences.com for a chance to win epic experiences all season long. One lucky Cowboys fan will win an epic game day experience and get to be a part of the Cowboys Thanksgiving Day traditions, courtesy of Tostitos. You know, they can feel free to send us some bags. And I want some of that bean dip, man. You know, that bean dip is tight.
It's good stuff.
Here's your gas.
You know what? And I mean, it's okay, baby. It's okay.
I mean, baby.
Hey, what? Every lot of things give you gas.
We got ventilation right there.
All right, a lot of things give you gas. You know what? Lysol. We got a can
Nick,
right here, baby.
You want to be cuddled up with your girl with gas, Nick?
I don't have any problems letting it loose. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
You got a bathroom,
Keep
bro.
it real.
I don't have a gallbladder.
You can't get up.
It goes through me
during the game.
It gonna happen
You just
regardless.
can't get up and just hit remote on the hit the remote. And
Hey, man, maybe we just live differently. That's okay.
You can't.
That's okay.
You can't hang. You can't hang. Beans do that to you. That's fine.
Hey.
I'm okay. I'm okay with beans, Bobby. Okay.
Let's keep it moving, man.
Bobby Belt, Jean-Jacques Taylor.
We've talked about both excretion services in the last.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about Tostitos and what Tostitos can do for game day. Cowboys bag. Just want some bean dip with it. Dak Prescott.
That dude
is balling. You start looking at some of the numbers. Look at the game notes here. All right, game notes for Rain Dakota Prescott here. With a win on Sunday, Dak would tie Tony Romo, 78 wins for the third most wins by a quarterback in franchise history. How does that rank to you guys?
How does that what?
How does that rank? How does that think
Third.
to you when you third, but in your mind, because as you said to Bobby, you fighting all the time with the Dak haters on the internet. Third in terms of wins?
It's all right. It's cool. Ain't been enough postseason success for me to be like, yeah. That's just the facts, man.
Okay.
It's cool. It's good. But you don't get the plus on the end.
How much different would his legacy be if he just made an NFC championship or made a Super Bowl? Like, not even win one, but just make it. How different would the legacy be that much different?
With the Cowboys fans or nationally?
Yes.
Because I think it's a different answer.
Let's say Cowboys fans.
I think if he makes a Super Bowl with Cowboys fans, then they're holding on to that hope still and be like, well, we've seen him do it once. He was in position once, and he took us farther than anybody else has. Like, let's give it a shot. I think he's given a lot more credence. Now, there are some people who are just like they'll never forgive the Tom Landry fire, and there's some people who are never going to forgive that Tony Romo didn't get his job back, and they're never, ever going to let Dak be the guy that they root for. Nationally, he's got to win a Super Bowl before anybody will give him credence. They're just not going to do it.
I look at it the way Jalen Hurts went to his first Super Bowl with the Eagles, and people weren't happy.
Mm-hmm.
They just weren't happy. And shoot, the guy wins it, and you got Cam Newton sitting up there saying top 10 quarterback. So I just think there's certain guys that people want to give credit to, and certain guys they just won't.
You know, the title changed everything. I mean, if you look around here, Dirk, the whole thing changed when he won the title. Dirk was a great player before he won the title.
MVP?
Wasn't even a question. Great player, Hall of Fame player. Still, people took a dump on him, and then he won the title. Now it's hey.
Yeah, people forget if not for that title, up until that title, he was labeled like the softest player in the game.
I once said,
and then that went away as soon as he won a title.
I once wrote a column in 2007 after they lost to Golden State. You'll never win the title with this guy as the centerpiece of your offense or of your team for that reason.
Way to go.
I remember Cal.
He was right. He moved to power forward.
I still 20 years later, I remember reading the paper and Kalishaw saying Manu Ginobili was better, and I was like, no, okay, so we got to slow down too.
I mean, I remember David Wesley poking him in the chest like, you're not going to do nothing?
It still doesn't beat the all-time worst.
What was it?
When Randy Galloway wrote a column saying the Mavericks should not take Michael Jordan.
I don't remember that one.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, wrote a whole column. Go Google that bad boy. Yes, Randy Galloway. They don't need Michael Jordan. Don't take Michael Jordan. Down on Michael Jordan.
What pick did they have in that draft?
They actually picked fourth.
Bill Garnett?
No, they took Sam Perkins, Jordan's teammate from North Carolina.
Okay.
Sleepy Sam.
Who had a really nice NBA career,
So
but he
it
wasn't
went
Michael Jordan.
Akeem Olajuwon in Houston at 1. Portland took Sam Bowie at 3. The Bulls took Jordan at 3rd. Rod Thorne, by the way, made the pick. And then the Mavericks took Sam Perkins at 4.
Okay.
Sam Perkins, Detlef Schrempf, Calvin Booth. We were just a Seattle Supersonics farm system there for a while, man.
Yeah, except for when they decided to. Yeah,
the Cowboys though
passed on Karl Malone for Detlef Schrempf. Yeah, that didn't work out very well. But Dak Prescott. So you've got that. Also right now, Dak with 197 passing yards against the blitz leads the NFL. He ranks 5th in completion percentage right now, and Dak leads the NFL in third down completions, 75%, 15 of 20 on third downs, with 11 of those completions going for a first down. It's just 2 games in, but the quarterback's doing his job.
Yeah, see, I don't really care about none of those stats because everybody who watches the game, he looks better, he's playing better. You can see it. Like, it don't even matter what the stats say. Just like you can tell a couple years ago when he played, like, poorly because he's throwing interceptions every week for whatever reason. You can look at it and see he looks better. He just feels he looks more confident. Like the way he took off in the overtime and got the 18 yards. I mean, he was decisive with it. Like, oh, boop, boop, and off. That's a guy who's playing confidently. And as long as he's doing that, man, that would be a problem on offense. Now, I can't say much about their defense right now, but on offense, there'll be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, stats-wise, those probably should be better too. But I mean, as good as those are, they should look better. Their guys haven't totally finished plays all the time.
Correct.
I think that
a lot of drops.
Yeah, I think JJT's right. Like when you look at it, you've got the fact that he's playing at a different. Like eye test alone tells you he's better than he was last year, even before the injury.
Yeah.
Before the injury last year, there's a lot broken about this football team. Like whenever anybody goes, well, they lost Dak for the year. That's part of why they were so bad. They were 3-5 with Dak, and they were headed for probably that same 7-10 with him because it wasn't a good year, and he wasn't playing well. It was not the same guy that had been out there in 2023 and was second in the MVP voting, and so he looks more like that guy right now. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. He looks in rhythm. More than that, he looks cocky in a good way.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I thought about this the other day. maybe he's at that point of his career, year 10, where he's got the answers to the test. So there's nothing he sees that he goes, oh, y'all were doing this.
People
going here.
Players say it all the time. Coaches say it all the time, and it probably sounds just generic to people. But whenever somebody tells you like they've seen a lot of football, like whenever they talk about a coach or a player, man, they've seen a lot of football. What they're telling you is like these same concepts that we're going like, why can't you figure out cover 3 and cover 2 to stop the Giants? Like a lot of these concepts are it's a matter of mastering what is out there. There's not going to be as much as there's a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan or a Ben Johnson or somebody else new pushing things forward. When you look at it, it's like, no, at the end of the day, these are a lot of the same basic concepts. And once you have them down and once you understand things pre-snap and what coordinators like to do and different people like to do, then, yeah, you've reached a level of mastery that Dak just may be at this point of his career. Roughly same time of Tony Romo's career when he popped off.
He went 34-10 and 34-9 the year after he led the league with 19 interceptions because you could tell it slowed down for him and there was no fooling him. It was just a matter of, do I have enough time and do these guys run the right routes and will they catch it? Because the ball's going to the right spot.
Yeah, there's a couple things I want to point at. He's seen the field really well. And you mentioned those numbers against the blitz, Newy. And specifically the game against the Giants, he was blitzed 20 times. He went 13 for 19 for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. It's almost like he's baiting defensive linemen to get in his face. And it's I asked him about it after the game. I was like, you've been so good against the blitz during your career. How do you take that pressure and still work it into stride? And, it's another one of those things that he's seen it. He understands it. He understands that Giants coverage scheme as well. And that's benefited him. But I think the thing this year, if we compare this year to last year in the limited time that he had in 24, a healthy running game is helping him so much. And seeing Javonte Williams being that guy and him being able to utilize the play action to his full advantage. I mean, when he can utilize the play action and he can play this well against the blitz, that's when you see the 2023 version of Dak Prescott or the 2020 version of Dak Prescott.
It seems to me, and I haven't looked at any stats, that they're also attacking the middle more. Does it seem like that to you?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's back. Deep crossers are back. I know that's back. Those were not really in the offense last year very frequently. You've seen him hit those more frequently. So that's, going across the middle of the field, you're hitting some of those. They haven't hit on the seam throws to the tight ends yet, but they're trying them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is there's this blend. So younger quarterbacks, they have all the athletic ability in the world. They're at their peak, but yeah, they're still kind of behind in terms of where they're at with the game. You got a guy like Russell Wilson who physically is not the same player anymore, but answers to the test guy as a veteran. He knows what those coverages look like he saw on Sunday, so he was able to just, all right, I can pick this apart. I know what this is. I've seen it before. Dak is at that point right now where you generally, quarterbacks play their best football in their early 30s in the modern NFL because the physical ability is still kind of there, and you've got the high IQ, the high mental processing, and this is the time, this 2-3 year window where you're supposed to be able to kind of maximize everything.
So first year calling plays, McCarthy had Dak second in the league in MVP, and right now we're seeing Schottenheimer, who's calling the plays for Dak. They're 2 games in so far. Dak's looking good right here. What do we think about the play calling here between the 2 coaches? Anything at all, or is it the player?
I think.
Yeah, what do you think, Bobby?
I need to see some.
I think if you look at weeks 1 through 6 in 2023 and look at week 7 on and look at what that offense looked like, you'll see one that looks remarkably different. And I think the one you see week 7 on looks like the one you're looking at right now. And I think that's because this is the second time basically in their career that Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott have been calling the shots. And the other time was the majority of the back half of 23.
They have an understanding.
I think Dak Prescott was largely in charge of the offense for most of that MVP year. And I think early on when you look at the way that the 3-step time and get the ball out, classic West Coast look was the first 6 weeks of the season where they really, really struggled.
Yeah. Is that when CD went in there and said...
That's when a lot of people, I think, went in there and said some stuff.
What y'all doing,
They called Rich Dalrymple, fix this. Let's get our...
That bye week came at a good time.
It sure did.
Yes, it did. Let's get another break in here on the Media Mash. DallasCowboys.com.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand Star-Shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Look, school is starting and I'm just a kid. And let's be honest, I'm not going to shop for myself. But we can get up to 40% off back-to-school essentials on Uber Eats. Did I mention I need poster board for my science fair, lunch for my field trip, and unlined note cards for my history quiz tomorrow? Or were they lined? Anyway, Uber Eats has like all the back-to-school stuff on there. So come on, let's order now on Uber Eats and get up to 40% off. We're cool, right? Cool.
Not literally everything. Promotion ends 9/16 and is subject to change or cancellation. Exclusions may apply. Check app for availability.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
Keith Davis into the end zone.
You know what separates champions from the rest? Making the right move at the right moment. With blockchain.com, that's never been easier. The Cowboys became America's team by striking bold when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com. Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys today to get started and learn more. That's blockchain.com/Cowboys.
Back to Media Mash.
The countdown to game day starts with Rally Days, presented by SeatGeek. Get a behind-the-scenes look at AT&T Stadium, meet the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni, play games, win prizes, and more. Get your tickets at AT&TStadium.com/Rally Days. Media Mash, Sean Shack Taylor, Bobby Belt, Nick Harris. I am Newy Scruggs. Matt Eberflus, Revenge Tour, hit Chicago, where they fired him. People said it was all you. Last week, Bears gave up 52 points.
And he was not in the building.
The guy that they said was the reason because Ben Johnson,
Ben Johnson was going to solve it all. So Eberflus is going back this week. Brian Schottenheimer's talked openly at the press conferences about, wanting to win for him this week. Thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I don't think Schottenheimer tried to say that, Eberflus, he's the same man every day. He's consistent. He's going to treat it like every other game.
Stop.
Look, man. I could leave a place on my own. I'm still going to want to beat them when I go back.
Hey,
so I'm doing a little bit better, So
when that girl dumps you, when you see her later, you know how you want to.
Or even if you dump her. Even if.
Yeah.
You always want to win the breakup.
Right.
You always want to win the breakup.
You want to win breakup? That's
yeah.
it?
You want to win the breakup.
Yeah, I mean, look, a couple years ago, they tried to insist, everybody in this organization tried to insist, going to Green Bay doesn't mean much. Going to Green Bay for the first time for Mike Blasco, a lot of these coaches, it doesn't mean much. That
was a lie.
That meant something, and when they lost that game the way they did, that
hurt.
That hurt a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of people who didn't even work in Green Bay. There was a lot of people who were just like, we let them down in a big way. This was I remember they threw it up on the scoreboard. They had a list. It looked like a class roll of here's everybody who's returning tonight on the coaching staff for the Cowboys. And so it's one person. It's actually two because you got Eberflus and then Overstreet.
There's three. Andre Curtis.
Andre Curtis too. Yeah. So you've got guys returning back there.
Borgonzi, that's four.
For those guys, they're going to want to. Yeah, you got Reddy Stewart too. Okay, you got him ready to be a steward for the cornerback room. You've got guys here that they're going to want to all work together on, I think, playing for each other and like playing for getting a victory out for them. Like, I mean, if they win this game on Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like game ball, Flus. Like it's going to mean something. Yeah, it's going to mean something. So exactly, you're going to get the Rudy moment. So I think that it absolutely means something, regardless of you've got to keep your composure. You got to be the same guy every day. You got to stay even, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely going to mean a little bit more.
I look at a game like this, and you just hope the dudes on the back end can get it right this week. I mean,
what was the biggest issue?
That was bad.
So there was a lot of talk. I mean, I know a lot of people wanted to throw Trayvon Diggs under the bus. I don't think Diggs was as responsible for as many of those plays as a lot of people thought. I think that they're in zone coverages a lot of times, and honestly, could be communication. It looked mainly to me like as simple as just these are basic cover 2, cover 3 concepts a lot of times. This isn't a lot of different things with creeper blitzes and things that Mike Zimmer wants to do, or it's not a bunch of man match concepts that Vic Fangio wants to do. These are things that you've played in for a while. It just seemed like there were too many lapses. So to me, I know it's cliche, but players got to make plays, and players, more than that, players just got to be in the right position. And a lot of times I think on Sunday, guys were not in the right position where they were supposed to be.
7 times in that game against the Giants, they gave up a pass of 20 or more yards, which that alone is wild. Here's an order of at least the responsibility that I was able to pin off of those 7 plays. The first one, Kenneth Murray. Second one, Trayvon Diggs. Third, Jack Sanborn. Fourth, Trayvon Diggs. Fifth, Kyer Elam. Sixth, Malik Hooker. Seventh, Donovan Wilson and Kyer Elam. So
it's a little bit of everybody.
It's a little bit of everybody. It's funny because the one guy you expected to maybe be on this list that was not was Reddy Stewart. If you had told me going into the game that, hey, you're going to have 7 pass plays giving up more than 20 yards, you would have thought Reddy Stewart's name would be on there.
So Kyer Elam, that was an interesting name. People went after him.
I mean, he's a failed first-round pick.
If you're not putting any pressure on Russ, and the great Warren Sapp used to say, the back doesn't work without the front. And if the front's not getting home, and you got Russ back here with time, an experienced guy.
Well, there's still time. I mean, I was told Sam Williams and Dante Fowler was going to make up for Micah. And it was going, why are you looking like that? That's what I was told. Now, people want to have revisionist history like I wasn't told that. But after the trade, don't worry about Micah. We're going to get it by committee. And, I never liked committees, man.
I was at a training camp once, and I was told that Derek Lassick was going to be okay. While they waited for Emmitt Smith. And that Derek Lassick was on the Alabama 1992 National Championship team and upset Miami. And Derek Lassick told me, I think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
They went 0-2. So I'm just saying, we've heard some stuff around here.
It was Bo Scarborough, not Derrick Henry.
No, my problem with the edges are they all seem to me to be complimentary guys. They're not like that dude.
Right.
And so they don't scare anybody.
And they signed a complimentary guy.
I mean, I think they've spent about $17 million, counting Clowney on their edge. Guy. The franchise number is like 22. I mean, think about that. And there's like 20 guys who make more than 20. And you signed all of them for 17. You get what you pay for most of the time.
I understand your point about pass rush being able to help these guys out more than anything, and obviously you don't have a very key pass rush weapon that you had last year. But and this is what we talked about, guys not understanding simple cover 2, cover 3 responsibilities. The 52-yard gain that was given up middle of the third quarter, Darius Slayton blown coverage. He was open right down the right sideline. Kyer Elam is the only player on the field out of the 7 that were in coverage that was playing cover 2. Everybody else was playing cover 3. So he understood that, or he had an understanding that he was supposed to play shallow there, and no one was there to account for Slayton as 52-yard gain. So it's at times guys aren't even understanding where they're supposed to be. That's why I understand when Schottenheimer says, hey, I think this can be a 1-week fix. And for sure, you'd be like, hey, you're supposed to do that, not that. I mean, that's not a 1-week fix. That's a 5-second fix. But
is that understanding?
How does that get into the brains?
Or is that you just didn't get the play call? You thought you heard this and everybody else heard that.
Yeah, I mean, 2 and 3, I mean,
they don't sound alike.
Yeah, they don't sound similar. They share one letter too. That's it. I would look at it and I'd say, yeah, that was clear. Like, you watch Elam on that play, he very clearly thinks he's got somebody behind him who's taking it. Like, the way he's playing it, he's releasing and he's letting him go, and everybody else is playing a different kind of coverage. I think as much as that's something that's on Elam, there are other times where it looks like something may have been on Elam. That's not. Something looks like it may have been on Diggs. That's not. And that's the difficult thing about trying to keep track of these sort of things.
Not trying to make excuses, just asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what happens when you have 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years and 3 different ideas about what you want to do?
No, not to me. Not on cover 2, cover 3.
I'll say yes, but it certainly doesn't help.
It doesn't help. But I mean, They've all been playing cover 2 and cover 3 since high school.
That personnel was drafted with the intention of being in the Dan Quinn system, where they ran more man covers than anybody.
I was going to ask that if you have a situation where you got guys who specialize in man, ask them to play zone, and it's not.
Yeah,
fits are absolutely going to be a part of this. But again, like we're talking about, you are introduced to cover 2 and cover 3. You're playing that in high school. You're playing that in college. You're playing that up through the NFL. Like,
yes.
Proficiency is another question, but just flat out not knowing I need to let somebody go to that zone. That just feels.
And I also go back to this as defensive coordinator. And we saw Zimmer talk about that. Okay, are you running your scheme, or are you putting the players that you have in the best position possible?
Quinn deserves a ton of credit for when he got here. Quinn threw out historically what his entire scheme had basically been, and he had always been a big time cover 3 guy, and he got here and he got more comfortable with, all right, let's, Micah, you were drafted here to be a linebacker. Let's have you do this. Let's have this guy do this. He started just saying, all right, I'm going to find where these pieces work and make them work. And you hear that from coaches all the time when they come, it's about players over scheme. Schottenheimer said that when he got hired, that one of the big things, I think he said his dad had told him, was that, if you've got players that don't fit your scheme, you've got the wrong scheme. You need to find something that talented players have the ability to do. And that's something that Dan Quinn really maximized when he was here, and something that, you will figure out. Now, to be fair, Eberflus is probably figuring it out. First couple weeks Dan Quinn was here, the defense didn't look very good either. And over time, he realized, okay, this guy does this well, this guy does this well. Zimmer, same thing last year. First couple weeks were tough. He figured out, all right, this guy does this.
And they're not playing a lot in the preseason.
So you could have this could be a period of figuring things out. But if we're 5 weeks from now and there are still problems with cover 2 and cover 3, and guys are just being asked to go out there and still continue the same things. If Donovan Wilson, who I think is a really good player, Dan Quinn always thought Donovan Wilson needed to play up in the box and be a physical, strong safety, like extra run defender type.
Agree.
Yes.
Donovan Wilson's been asked to play a lot of deep middle in the first couple weeks here for the Cowboys, and I
that seems like a bad idea.
That's something that we'll see if you figure out, like, okay, that's something that's not going to work, or if you just kind of say, no, we got to do it this way. This is the way I want it done.
Because he's a human missile.
Yeah, he is probably the most physical player on their defense.
And I bring this out here just so fans have an understanding. By the way, these coaches are all new and they're all working together, and it takes a while to figure it out. Remember, Bill Parcells was saying, hey, I got to learn how to coach the coaches here. Three different defenses, 3 different guys with 3 different ideas. I just wonder how much it matters. And clearly, as we're having the conversation here, we can make some cases where it does. And does Dan Quinn, does Eberflus do what Dan Quinn and say, hey, look, maybe I got to make some changes here to take advantage of these guys, because it ain't like you go ahead and dump these dudes and go get a whole bunch of new people. So anyway, just something to look at. And oh, by the way, you got something against Chicago this week where, you give Caleb some time. And by the way, Caleb and Eberflus didn't have the world's coziest relationship.
First time we talked to Eberflus this past summer, I had asked him, I said, what's the biggest thing you've learned since Chicago that you think you're most fundamentally different on since you left Dallas? Yeah. And he said, players need to be maximized. Like you can't just try to fit, square peg round hole and say this is the way it's got to be. You need to figure out what talented players can do and maximize them in that position. So if that's the case, then hopefully you'll see some of that stuff sort of changed and adjusted. Just like in the second half, you saw him blitzing more when he realized the edges weren't getting home against Philadelphia. Hopefully you see those same sort of things throughout the season.
All right, guys, it's good stuff. You do it again tomorrow? Do it again tomorrow. All right, Shock.
I'll try to remember.
Bobby, Nick, it's all good, man. It's all good. You got here. It's all good. All good. I'm Newy. Chris Beam, everybody here. Appreciate you. Players Lounge tomorrow for me and Media Mash. So back to back right here. Turn your phone off.
I know. That was my bad.
500.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!